Alright. I'm trying to see why Maya won't install properly. I haven't had to install it on this computer yet. So are you like dead ass? They don't teach you any of this stuff, right? Which is crazy. Explode. Good lord. Alright, 1 second, I'm sorry. It's never a proper game dev explanation if Maya doesn't decide to not work. Went to business school, then institute. What? Soup. It is. Oh my god. It be this way. Why you gotta be this way, baby? I'm so broken hearted. Sushi, you're so stupid if you think there's gonna be an ethnics question in a business school. I guess stupid's not the right word. That is the joke. Well, it's not fun. Check, 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 check. My mic disconnected. That's just God telling me to not be an asshole right now. Alright, hold on. Are you fucking kidding me, Autodesk? Yo, what up, Joey? Working on my issues. I wonder if this is gonna crash all my stuff. We're gonna start in like 2 secs. Not 5 secs, not 3 secs. 1 sec. Where's my gamer subs? It's right here. Is come an acronym? No. Actually, I'm pretty quick with it. If I'm being honest. Hit that Johnny Sins level technique. Then I share this in the Discord, and then I can move on with the rest of this. Fucking all right. Yo, what up, Obus? Okay. Still going. Yes, it is. Bifrost absent under.
Come on and stroking my dick. I got lotion on my dick right now. I'm just stroking my shit. I'm horny as fuck, man. I'm a freak, man.
Is that what I have for the resub sound? What the fuck is wrong with me? Wait, is it only for 10 months? Wait. I don't remember setting that up. Hold on. Okay. With the hype train, baby! Okay. Let us turn this down a little bit. Let's put on... What's everyone's go-to teaching music? Lo-fi? Anime lo-fi? Anime lo-fi. Anime lo-fi. Alright. We got the lo-fi music going. We got the vibes. Alright. While everything else is installing, I gotta do an intro, because it's gonna be on the YouTubes, I think. Hi! Schools are failing, so I'm teaching you trim sheets. I'm terrible at intros. I'm gonna re-record this later. Or I won't. It depends how lazy I am. I'm talking to you and you. Future people and current people. You're gonna learn trim sheets today. Sorry, intro was the dungeon on it. No, it's fine. It's all good. Okay. Now. How do I start this? How do I start this? Please excuse me, I'm not an artist. Fuck. I haven't had to use, view mode. Okay. With the 15. Okay. Should I pause notifications or should I keep it? No, it's fine. All right. Lovelies, today I'm teaching you about trim sheets. Now you're wondering, what are trim sheets? A trim sheet is a texture that contains a bunch of baked normal and height map information that is usually used to add extra detail to assets while saving a bunch of information and not needing to model it on everything, right? It's used in so much game development. It's used everywhere in environment art. It is it's super duper common. Just because it is so quick, you can use it everywhere, and it saves on so much time, information, and speed. Also, it makes things a lot cheaper. The reason... let's back up. You can see here, these are examples of everything used. It is used everywhere. We predominantly use it a lot in The Last of Us Part 1, Last of Us Part 2. It's used in God of War. It's used everywhere, right? And if you notice down here, this is an example of a really simple trim sheet. It has a bunch of baked bevel information. It is all unique assets, and it all has unique hard edges. You would take and model it out, and then you would bake it in Substance Designer, Painter, Xnormals, whatever you want, right? These are examples. These are all color systems, so you can pick and choose to make it easier. Some mask, you can have more wear, less wear, all the way through. Your base AO, if you're going to use it on wood, metal, plaster, whatever the like, you would use it consistently throughout all your assets. So if you look on here, same asset. If you look at all the bevels on the cubes, the walls, everything else, same texture, same thing, just all the normals carry consistently between wood, metal, and if you look at the geometry on here, there's not really that many beveled edges, but it appears to be beveled and highly detailed. And that's the point of it. You get to use so much more by using little, just by manipulating UVs. It's just by texturing things properly. Now, to follow up on more examples, we're going to go back to, again, a lot of these ArtStation posts, which you can find everywhere. You just need to look properly with trim sheet. So right here, this is a baked asset, all highly high modeled, baked in, high to low rotation. But if you use the same exact workflow with the baked bevel, you get almost the exact same results. It is so efficient, and honestly, it is worth it. No, exactly. Apparently these guys are really cool with it, but not the other studio. I'm not biased about it. We're not going to look that up. You know what? Future Adrian, in the edit, put it right here. This is the one that they can. Don't do it. Actually, don't do that. Don't do that, future me. I'm not mad about it. I will do it. Yes, you will. I will. I'll send you the bot. I do it. Bet. Now here's the lab area of the game. If you remember The Last of Us at the very end, you're going through lab. You have a lot of the same assets going through. It's a small section. You have chairs, windows, all this stuff. And all the edges contain those high poly edges that are baked in a trim sheet. And you get a lot of detail for low poly effort. So you don't even need to know how to like model at an absurd high level of art. If you just know how to manipulate UVs, you get amazing quality. You can really be really cheap with it. You just have to adjust your UVs with it. I spent too much. But here's an example of how it's done. Like if you look throughout, let's pick this up a little bit. So here, and UVing, you would go through really easily. So you have your UV set up. You notice a couple of the edges here are a little rough. But once you adjust them and place them properly, you can high. It's easy to manipulate. It is so easy. Clear it, remake it, and readjust everything to get those super duper fast details. And you can even vary it on size, scale, whatever you need. It's phenomenal work. It's why it's used so much in higher fidelity games. It's why when you told me that they don't teach this in schools frequently, I was genuinely upset because it's so important. It's almost unparalleled to be used everywhere. It's like real-time light ship for PC. Yo, what up, Powers? I'm ranting about very important game dev techniques that apparently a lot of people don't know. Do you put everything on one trim sheet, or do you split them, or how do you decide where to put it? So I can show you. Hold on. In another example, I have a bunch of these. So I have a bunch of trim sheet examples that we can do. Here to learn. I'm ready for skate school. All right, today we're gonna teach you how to kickflip. Anyway, so as you know, I was a fan of Concord. I especially liked a lot of their environment art. The environment art was very, very smart, considering it was UE5 and it ran on 60 frames like a fucking dream, right? So if you look at a lot of these materials, like they have a mixture of tilables and straight up trim sheets, right? So say we have this sucker right here. Can I have this right here the whole time? You can, let's set this right here and this right here. Same artist, right? We're gonna go to one of these scenes. Where is it? All right. Open this in a new tab. So, can you see both of these? Maybe I can, hold on, let's. So, god damn it. So if you look through on both of these, Actually, hold on, let me move my head. Let me move my fat noggin real quick. I'll go right here. I'll go in the middle. I'm gonna Malcolm in the middle of this. You have both of these. But if you notice, the details here, like where my mouse is pointed right here, match up all along here. This one up here. This little, these shapes up here carry throughout here, here. The shells are down here. And all this throughout it. You wouldn't believe all these details carry over to multiple different assets. You're able to cover so much ground in detail with one material. With a mixture of a tileable and a single trim sheet. It's a 3D color palette. Yes, exactly. That is a perfect way to think about it. It is, you are deciding the main overall detail of your entire scene, your entire project, your bunch of assets. It is absurdly well done. So like this entire thing, you save on a modular kit. You can model all these out and set dress it like that. It is smart. It is efficient. You have to be fast. And you can even go further beyond with a bunch more stuff. Now, one of my favorite examples let's just go God of War. You didn't do an entire... Okay, funny enough, I did this while I'm realizing it's not... It's on frame shows, leaning like an elephant test. It's unpacking it. Okay, there is one section of... Where is it? Where is it? So John Arleno, very, very smart guy, right? Senior environment artist at Sony. Crazy, crazy dude. Does phenomenal fucking work. Having a mixture of all these assets as a collection of tileables and trim sheets. You can do it everywhere.
Dude, I gotta tell you about this. I've been laughing my ass off all morning thinking about this because it'd just be so fucking hilarious. What if...
I'm cutting it off because I'm locked in. It's fine. Yeah, that is, in a nutshell, the really, really... Wait, hang on. I'll give you your 2K back. 1 second. Can I load it back? It is not popping up for me. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. I got at least 3 more I can activate. How does it relate to you, a programmer? It doesn't. You're not important. Anyway. So what we're doing now is that the conversation will always revolve around... 1 second, let me do this real quick. Let me load some stuff up. Guy trying to also learn programming. About me technically design these nuts. I think one, I mean, aside from natural stuff, you can do a lot with a little. You can even do it with floaters. Have y'all learned what floaters are yet? Not the shit. You know what floater geometry is? It's okay if you don't. I'm assuming you know nothing. All right, you don't know. That's fine. Floating point geometry. Kinda. All right, hold on. Time to bring out everyone's favorite Marvel Rivals clone, Overwatch. Overwatch and Blizzard use a lot of floater geometry. If you look at actually, hold on. Give me an Overwatch gun actually made for Overwatch. So, a lot of these guns, yes, like model detail and high poly that you can bake in, or like floater decal stuff. So, it is a mixture of both. It is baked in on a trim sheet or baked in detail that you just put on floater decal, but it is above it and it's baked onto the asset. So it's literally all three. Overwatch uses those in spades because it is so cheap. And it is phenomenal. There is a whole ass let's see if I can find it real quick. There's an Overwatch talk. Watch talk. Hold on a second. Information. I realized looking up Overwatch art talk in who did that? Yo, shout out Screamy. Thank you for the follow, bro. Overwatch to it's GDC. Here we go.
All good?
You're good.
All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Overwatch 2. How much of that is what you're to Geo?
Yo! Already cut. Thank you for the follow. All right. Right button. Based on the study made by Canadian Institute researchers, 9 in 10 people. What are you talking about? Right button. All right. Let me know if you can hear this.
That you add on top of your mesh and plusing the concept and the fabric basics. So we're going to start by floaters. And this is robot Junkrat skin, by the way. That's the high poly for it. And we're going to get to that later on. So high poly, floaters. If you don't know about floaters, they're going to be your best friend, especially if you're into games. Like, trust me, I did not use floaters before. When I found out what floaters are, what they do, they're now my best friend. Floaters, what are they? They're floating geo that you add on top of your mesh. And the best thing about them is they're easy to edit, delete, change, name it. Like whatever you want to do with it, you can because you're not constrained with the polish of the base mesh. So this backpack, again, if you look at it on the right, you see how it looks cool with all the final details. But the final high poly base is what you see right there. And if I go next, you see how much of details was added by just floaters. So again, this will help you so much and give you a lot more time to experiment with other designs if you're not sure about what you want to do by just using floaters. Because you're not happy with one, delete it, try another one. But if you punch those details in the geo itself, it's going to take you way more time to edit that. And here, just another image to show you how much of that is actually floaters.
Okay, so to circle back.
Here, the
all this stuff right here, it looks like it's perfectly in the mesh. None of it matters.
Itself, how much of
but this is all, it's all floating. It's all floating, it's leveled in, and it is phenomenal work.
But
and this is a common practice used in stylized games. Small studio work that can, it's absurd. I love floaters. I've loved floaters all my life. Anytime you need it, makes your life so much easier, especially hard surface stuff. But how do you do that? You literally have a piece of geometry.
Actually doing
like you have your base mesh. Hold on, let me see if my Maya's done real quick. I can show an example. If my Maya is done, please hold. This is the guy. Why would it cause problems with the mesh if it's combined or even grouped? There's no reason why it would cause a problem with the mesh. So you can also think of it like that. Yeah, exactly. You can think of it as drawing. You can also think of it as like you're working in Photoshop and you have layers above it. If you just use all that together, it doesn't matter. It won't break the picture. You just have layers. That's it. And it is awesome for iteration. And you can change everything so quickly. Yep. The parent object gets sometimes they float above the high poly mesh. They don't really exist in low poly. Exactly. It is amazing. Now, one of the big things that I know you want to know, and it avoids seed fighting, or is that something you gotta account for? Most of it, you avoid seed fighting. You just make sure it doesn't completely interact with the mesh. You know what I mean? Like, it's still there, but it's not gonna completely... You just adjust to whatever's necessary. Do you make the floaters part of the base mesh in the final version, or do you just leave them floating? Entirely depends on your pipeline. But for the most part, you can just leave it grouped together. I usually make it after. As soon as the base mesh is done and I want to do details, that's when I start adding floaters. I'm loading up Maya so I can show in a sec. And let's see, what else is there I can show? So, I think another famous example is this one from Cliff. This is what got me to learn so much about these. Get this out of here. This is a good example. It's really simple and it's all baked. It just goes through, you know what I mean? But Cliff worked on God of War, and God of War 2018 is one of my favorite art pillar games of all time, right? It is gorgeous. There's so much love and stuff that goes into it. So, and you can sculpt all these pieces individually and put them on a sheet, bake them down, and then apply them over rest. It can go to whatever piece of asset you want, whatever asset you want. All you have to do, again, manipulate the UVs. Save you so much time and effort that players aren't really going to need to stress about. So again, circling back, you go to tier. Look at all this detail. They're not going to do it all. What if all my homies hate UVs? Get a different job. Also, UVing is so easy. Do people do this kind of detail work in ZBrush? Yes. Especially the studio like at Sony Santa Monica, a lot of their stuff is purely ZBrush work. So, like, did I just install Maya this entire stream just to show you this? Yes, I did. So, for an example, let's do one of these. Let's go 10, 10, 10. What I like to do as well, let's turn off the grid. One of the things I love to do immediately off rip, you should probably just do this in the main asset creation, but I'm stupid. And that's okay. Give me my model attribute plane, polyplane, flip. There you go. I don't know shit about this. I'm basically watching, give suggestions, and explain. Well, no, that's perfect. People like you that help explain this stuff makes it a lot easier. Yo, how's the end gone? You know what, Tumor Boy? They're gone. Anyway. But no, I love channels like yours and other people, because even though, like, people would come back with half-baked information sometimes, because they're like, oh, I'm half paying attention or whatever, it's always, I know just enough to I have to leave now. ZBrush is one of those things I gotta get better at myself. I feel like I don't know how to approach small details like that. Keep them looking sharp in ZBrush. So there are multiple ways you can do that. I'll save it for another conversation, because ZBrush is a whole ass that's a whole ass situation to handle. If you want to do that, just let me know. I'll 100%. I can do that on the next one, because I could make a really good organic trim sheet I think would be really cool. But I'm working on some other stuff right now. Yeah, that'd be awesome. All right. Another thing to always notice. Oh my god. Made me shit my ass right now. Why do I give that? Why do I give that to y'all every time? I hate that thing. God damn. I fucking hate. Ah! My train of thought just got shot. Why is that? Oh, I turned it down. It's like a I'm turning it off. You're losing Haha! You lost privileges. You lose privileges, chat. First time joining the stream and Twitch recommended the metal pipe. What do you mean Twitch recommended the metal pipe? The fuck? That's insane. I'm not mad. That's just funny. All right. One thing that you should always this is bullshit. One thing you should know when
This is bullshit.
oh yeah, thanks Chief. That you should know about trim sheets though, and it goes with every other piece of UV, is that the amount of space it has on the overall on the sheet, the more detail and the higher poly it's going to be. So you would want to even out where it would go. So if say like this is going to be smaller. Oh, let me up the grid real quick. Sorry. Let's do like it's fine. Right there. So say you're predominantly focused on making things for edges and stuff like that. You're going to want each of the spaces to be fairly small. Like say you're going to have, just to keep it easy on yourself, you'll have it set up on a grid line just for efficiency's sake. Let's turn that back on. And the more spaces you give is the higher quantity and how much space it's going to get in the overall project. So more often than not, you're going to see people set up their spaces like so. And then you can even go smaller. You can what are UVs? So UVs, share my face. So UVs are when you take a 3D object, like this is my hand, and then you break it apart into and make it flat. So if I have one of these, or hold on. Back on. So I have this cube, right? We making trims? Yep, we're showing off trims today. So I have this cube, right? And every side has a face. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6 sides on a cube. And if I'm going to texture it, it's going to go out to different ways. And if I flatten it out, it's going to look like this. This is how this cube will look flat. It is in a UV space. Think of it. You ever have those, a bear rug as a UV in Living Bear? Exactly. I was going to bring up, you ever have those chocolate Santas? You ever have these things? You ever have one of these things and then you open it up and then the paper... You never had one of these? God damn it. And then you open up the foil and then the Santa is just flat? You're UVing chocolate Santa. UV wrapper flat. Like this. This is before. This is after UV Santa. Or chocolate coins. Yeah, exactly. Anytime you unwrap a foil or you unwrap anything, you are UVing that specific thing. Because time. Okay, so Now we're going back here. Top. So say you have all this, you have it all laid out, and you're going to keep these shapes. Like this is your main focus for it. You're going to have a couple spaces up here, all the way down. So down here, you would have the most amount. So you want your biggest detail. This is going to go on your biggest object around. And everything else would go divvy up based on size on whatever asset you create. That is how you're going to set everything up in the space properly. Is all this making sense? Yes. Okay, cool. Cool. And then you're just easiest way to switch it up. Yes, sir. At least to me it is. Cool. I'll set up more time to ask questions later. So some trim sheets looking like metal layered cake is because of that spacing. Yes, exactly. It is entirely set up by the artist or whatever they want to do. So if we go back to that the original one, that you can divvy it up as much as you want. So like look at this one. He cut it up so many times. Like this one up here is so small. Like most, it is such small detail that it's probably going to be used for small objects. A couple of edges here and there. All throughout the rest of it, this is more curved. This is a harder edge. And then the bigger the asset goes, you can chop it up, but it's diminishing returns. Well, yes and no. It entirely depends on the asset. But you were right. There's essentially a point where it doesn't matter. You have to subdivide to create more detail. Well, you make the detail. You're creating the detail to add to the trim. So if you want every edge to be beveled, you need to bevel it. If you want it to be sculpted, you have to sculpt it and put it in that space. Damn, bro, I was gonna mention earlier, who's still trying to learn programming. If you're in the Discord, you can find my lesson plan and cheat. Joey, throw it in the programming chat. It should all could be solid enough to communicate from their IMO. Okay, so we can. Yeah, you don't have to. Exactly. You just want the amount of detail you want to add to the texture, to add to the UVs, to add to everything else. That is, it's entirely up to you. It doesn't need to be just because. What's that thing where it's like, if you just because you divide something and add divisions to it doesn't mean it's high detailed. Like more often than not, more of the simple stuff is the best way to go about it. Even your stylized stuff. Like you have all this cool stuff that you could just throw on a wall. And it gives you as much or even more detail than necessary. Look at Valo. I think Valorant uses trim sheets a lot. Yep. I mean, when a poly count 700. Oh no, formula. That's what I'm saying. If your stick doesn't have a million polys, it's garbage. I don't make the rules. I'm really scared with do I have the hide? I think I do. I'm so scared to look at Valorant on this site because that's like so close to finding porn. You know what I mean? And the power of combining four-way to Does ArtStation? No. Gonna have to stream on Kick. That's what I'm saying. Also, if you're wondering, there is, if you want me to do a full workflow of like making a trim sheet and getting it and using it in Unreal, let me know, because I have, can you make Skate 5? I don't even think 4's out yet. Can you look up Overwatch? So the only difference between Overwatch and Valorant is that Valorant has to be very, very minimal due to the fact that it is a it's a, what's the Counter-Strike game? What is that style of game? It's not a hero shooter. It's a tac shooter. Thank you, Screamy. It's a tac shooter, so it has to be super duper cheap to have like super high poly stuff or high frame rate stuff. So I guarantee if you go through Valorant, you can find the same material patterns everywhere. Like, I guarantee this is mostly all the same. Oh, no, I was asking about almost important. Yes, 100%. It's probably the most spec game in that genre, like by a long shot. It runs on gold source. Are you serious? I realized I was showing a whole scene and you didn't even see it because I was like, no, it was on my face. But yeah, okay, wait, hold on. Perfect example. Have some hot chicken. You want some? No, thank you. I had Filipino food earlier. It was really good. So if you look right here. Oh wait, hold on. I could do the thing again. Okay. We are going to play Spot the Pattern on the trim sheet. We're going to play Spot the Patterns. So, these are your main patterns that you'll see throughout. Oh, do I have Valorant on here? That'd be so sick. Can I let... Oh, no, wait. I'd have to install Valorant, and then it'd be like, you have to restart your PC. Got some Tocino Gorilla Bread. Bro, that sounds good. Okay, so you see all this cool stuff, right? This pattern up here. These waves right here. Even the flowers all right here. All you have to do is adjust. Wait, hold on. Let's make something really quick. Do I have substance? I'm up. Have fun night. Later, corkscrew. Let me see if I have substance on here real quick. If I do, I could probably do a quick bake and show some stuff real quick. All because you know I care. I got trash animated and sleep to get. Do not worry about it, big dog. I'll try and get this up as soon as possible. That's not the right password, but that's my daily password. What the fuck? You know what? You don't need to explain your trash anime taste to anyone. This is a safe space to have trash. To have trash taste. Especially when you use gamer subs. Please hold, chat. I'm sorry. That time my dad woke up as a trash can in another one. I'm watching right now with Daima. I love Daima. It is kind of garbage. I love Dragon Ball Daima. I'm Mexican, dog. Of course I'm gonna love Dragon Ball. You know what I mean? Fork found in the kitchen. Okay, so I do have Painter. We're chilling. What if you have a really simple walls for environment or an example of cruise ships are very simple walls? Then who cares? What do you mean it's been suspended? Can I do a free trial? Nah, it's all good. We got 30 days on that trial, baby. We're chilling. And here's the thing. You don't need to add detail for the sake of adding detail. You do it to add detail and make it easier on your life. Like adding how an artist finds out their part. True. You don't need to... One of the things I've noticed with students and just people in general going new is that they over-exaggerate on a bunch of stuff that's not necessary. You will focus in on details and do too much for little result that no one's going to care. I've made that mistake a lot. It's just not necessary. So your job as an environment artist, which is why trim sheets are important, is to sell the illusion of detail. I'm trying to make you believe all this stuff exists in a space in the cheapest way possible. You know why? Because the characters are more than likely going to have all the detail. You're going to have lighting. You have other factors in the game. Just because you can make something absurdly detailed, it's not going to matter. Yeah, don't forget to stop looking it up close, looking at it from a playable actual look in relation to it. Every time I've done a scene, or even in game, first thing I do, as soon as I put it in game, I immediately pull out my controller and I test it. You test everything. You look at where the camera's going to show. If it's not going to show it, or if it's not going to matter, it's not going to be there. Delete your back faces. Delete all that stuff. You need to do all these things to make sure the game runs on everything as much as possible, despite the fact that nanites, everyone's going to be like, oh, nanite, da 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 da. You need to learn the basics. The subpixel detail will all get carried up by normals. That's all that matters. But Jan, Jake, and Jan is a banger, which I put the ending up in the third. Okay, bye art later. Normally, it's when your company email suddenly won't log in, or when you try to log in a Slack and then it goes, the Slack like login thing pops up and then it just scares you. Oh, that's some trauma, baby. I'm just gonna make some bullshit real quick, just to show it as an example. All because you know. Get that. You ever think of the fact, like, I've known so many people that have lost their jobs and did not know until Twitter. Oh, should I tell y'all the story about what happened during Black Ops? Did I tell y'all that story? One's in the chat if you want to hear that story real quick while I'm making this trim sheet to show it as an example. From Kotaku 111. All right. So, hold on, let me hide that. So, for those of you that don't know, I worked on Black Ops 4. I was working at Treyarch on Black Ops 4, and we were finishing up the, what was it? What spec was it? I think it was like the third zombies map. It was right before Tag der Toten and all that stuff. Oh yeah, Blops. Actually, in the Call of Duty fandom, it's called Blops. But yeah, working on the last couple maps, and we're like, and I was thinking to myself, okay, we're gonna chill. We'll finally be done. And then I looked over at our Slack, and then I saw a message from, I think it was either Kotaku or a Ancient Evil or the Nuketown one. I think it was Nuketown. It was the it was the Nuketown, because it was like in April or May, and we were pulling off from Crunch. And then we saw this article of when Sledgehammer left. Like, Sledgehammer had that huge walkout in like 2018 or 2019 or whatever. And from there, in the article, it was like Sledgehammer Studios has a massive walkout. And it looks like Treyarch will handle the 2020 COD game, which ended up being Cold War. And I remember we all looked at our lead at the time. We're like, yo, wait, are we going back on Crunch? Because we're immediately turning around to make a full new game. And he's just like, didn't say a thing. All I just saw was like all the producers and stuff just leave and go over to like the directors and all that stuff. And then it just was quiet. And we had no idea what was happening. And that's how I found out that we were going to circle back to do Crunch again. And then I left to go do Modern Warfare. Because I'm like, I'm going to Crunch. I'm going to do I'm going to go work on Modern Warfare. Happy to announce Crunch is over. Welcome to Crunch 2 Cold War. Okay. This is not a very optimal trim sheet. This isn't very cool. But I want to show the process of like what it would be to go grab all this information and just bake it. Be like a baker and bake it. You know what I'm saying? Let's just give me that right there. Okay, so we have this. This is our bake plane. This is where we're going to bake all our information on. And you can do this with all materials as well. You can do it in Designer, Painter, Xnormal, whatever you prefer. So I'm going to just export this out real quick. Export selection. Desktop. File type. Where's my FBX? Because this is an FBX household, god damn it. Bake plane. Get all that. Inverse to select. Export this. We're gonna call this just trim example. I'm gonna load up Painter. And by the way, by default, if you have your, always have your plane like right underneath or right by the asset, so that way you can tell where it is in the space. And when your UV should be entirely flat. It should be really flat. It's going to be really easy. So, just do a 1024. Get really cheap. Bring this out. Bring in my bake plane. I don't know where it is in the space, but whatever. And then you're going to go to Bake Mesh Maps. New Crunch Maps. Crazy. Bring out the trim. Keep it consistent with the 1024. Now my question is now, where is all the information? Let's take a look. The new driver has been recommended to improve performance. Got it. You're not baking at 819. No. Use Xnormal. Xnormal's free. Or use a 30-day trial. You can also do it in a bunch of other places. Now, why aren't you baking probably? Open PBR. What are you doing? No. Okay, there we go. I don't know what that first one was. And there you go. This one that I use is called Ham Plano Solid and Free. Yep. And there you go. You have all this normal information baked in for free. Super quick. Now you just do this real quick. Export textures. New folder. Just rename it real quick. Oh wait, I realized this is old Adobe. That's why the baker's a little fucky. Trim example. Select folder. Select folder. And I don't even need to worry too much. The main one we're looking for is this. We just want to make sure our normal map is consistent. So bring this out. To make a quick hypershade material. Just do a Lambert. Call it trim. Trim underscore X. And for the color, I'm going to use a file. I'm going to go back and pick up the normal. And so now you will see, if I pull out the plane again, all the way through here, and I apply it, you have a full normal map set up on there. And now we apply this here. And you're like, oh no, this isn't set up how I wanted. So what you're going to do, select your UVs. Go through, choose the face you want. Let's just do this one. You know, for safety, we'll just do an automatic so it separates out really evenly. Hold on, let me move you here and move you here so y'all can see it. I hide my outliner, hide this. And you know what? You don't need to see the other assets as well. So we have this asset right here. Let's get them all off. If I want to create extra detail on the edges, without having to bevel everything. Just go all the way up, even it out. Make this its own UV island real quick. Create UV shell so it doesn't manipulate everything else. Boom. And boom. You have all this extra. You have all this extra stuff really easy. And then if you're like, oh, what about the edge connecting between the two? Well, then you're going to select that. Redisplace it all the way down. And then just connect it. Connect it between the two. And there you have a relatively consistent, and I'm going to adjust this because it's bothering me. Boom. A little bit raw here. Yeah, you could also stack them too. It literally doesn't matter. You know why? Because you're not going to need to bake anything. You have the freedom. You got a 3-minute ad. I will wait for you, my friend. Because that ad goes crazy. I will wait. You don't need to worry about UVs. It is free. It saves you so much on time. And next time after we do a I can do like a full organic. You can set up 2 materials on top of each other in Unreal, because you can make multiple UV sets. I don't think your school taught you about multiple UV sets. Probably not. So no matter what, you do a lot. You can do so much with so little. It is amazing. We can do a more in-depth one next time, because I'm actually working on my Halo scene again, and I'm using a lot of trim sheets right now on a lot of my assets, and then we can see examples of them in Unreal, because you don't need because I think that is one of the most efficient ways to work to get a bunch of detail. And you can even do it with alpha opacities. You can do it with height maps. You can do it with whatever. It is magnifique. Also, hold on. Favorite thing. Transform. Promote with the refund. You get it? Set it. Reorients everything. Oh, you can also turn on step snap. You can do so much stuff. Like, I encourage you all to give these as much of a shot as you can, because you deserve to learn information, so that way you can make better art a lot more quickly and efficiently without needing to freak out about small things. You don't need to overthink it. And I'm waiting for that ad break to end. There we go. That was bothering me. We back. Let's go. Those goddamn ads. Sorry, that was bothering me. I really wanted them to line up. I'm like, yeah, there you go. That is, I think I saved my classes for trim sheets. I can upload a link to Discord, which may help too. You use Unreal. Yeah, do it. And that is trim sheets, and that is trim sheets in a very simple, nutshell-y way. We can do a lot more with it later. I could show y'all how to do the multiple UV sets so that way you can have a tileable on top of your trims. You can do... It allows for a lot of mobility. So, any questions? Oh, hold on. Maybe I should just... Let me do this real quick. Remember how we were talking about floater geo? What shampoo to use? Hold on. I can go show real quick. Hold on, let me do this real quick. Remember we were talking about floater geo? Bop. Whoops. There you go. Easy peasy. You don't know the difference. You don't know the difference. As long as it's set properly. See? Easy. All right. Sushi, do you have any more questions? Hacks. You make your own mesh. Work smarter, not harder. Exactly, gang gang. That is the only way to work. Do you think you could take a look at the whip on? Yeah, on trim sheets. It seemed to have been added. 1 second. Let's see. 3D general discussion. Where's your ref at? So when you do environments in Blender, do you UV map? Yeah, but you can... So, remember what I told you about modular kits? You only need a UV wrap one thing. You only need to UV wrap one section of the doors of the sections. You would have to... Like, for the metals, you can do it there. And then you just duplicate it. And then you can add variation through geo or atlases and stuff like that. But if you want to do trim sheets for it, do it with the wood, do it with the metal, do it with stuff like that. Things that, like, if you don't want to bevel this, which quite frankly you can, but whatever, just make a wood trim sheet. Make a really simple wood one, and then do it for the ceiling. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, clone the fuck out of stuff. Listen, you think artists are... I made this goddamn thing in an hour, and it was more effort than more teachers will ever give. It's because I copy and pasted a lot of stuff, and I knew from previous times. You know what I'm saying? Game devs are inherently lazy because we have so much to make. You have so much shit. Be lazy. Be a smart artist. Because if you don't, you're going to go insane. I am very dark right now. Hold on. Oh! I encourage you, be a smartest, not get that tattooed on your... I'm gonna get that tattooed on my body. Be a smartest, not a fartist. Boom. That's some bars there, Harmon. Lazy, not bad. Lazy means you... Exactly. I could not have said it better myself. And I swear to God, if I go through your folder and you made every asset individually and it's all individually like set up and stuff like that, I'm gonna hit you with a hammer. I'm gonna throw a shoe at you. I'm gonna combine, make sure you be it first. Alright. Any more questions? Because I do not mind answering more. And also, any other, like, particular environment art stuff. I'll spend 2 hours doing a bunch of details, set up working some bullshit just to save me a dime to model everything in the line. It makes you feel thanks every stuff. Exactly. There was a, at my previous studio, when I was working at Cold Iron, the principal environment artist, one of the smartest leads I've ever worked under. He was stupidly smart. He had a whole material system and a shader system set up in Unreal that you don't need UVs for. The only time you need to manipulate UVs is if it's a trim. He was amazingly smart. His name is Nick Quackenbush. He was so smart. He was one of the, I think he was like on the only artist or one of the few artists on Back is the Best. I fucking love him, man. He is stupidly smart. Like all the stuff he made for Alien Fireteam, he made all this shit. He is so smart. I only got to work with him for like he was a script artist, Cryptic ages ago. Oh man, he's so stupid. Like when I was able to work with him on AFE, I was only able to work with him for like 3 or 4 months. By the way, the first time I met him, he bought me a we went to I have a story. I'm gonna tell the story because I love the story. It is one of my favorite game dev stories. How the fuck don't I follow him? There. He and I were hanging out at the we met at like a work summit, like where everyone, yeah, he's the art director. He's the associate art director, which is deserved. He should have been an AD at Cold Iron, but whatever. He and I were hanging out, like we were getting dinner. It was like a good company dinner. We're all talking and stuff. What he did, he and I, it was all you can drink. It was an unlimited drink dinner, so we just kept drinking. And by the end of the night, he was hungover shit the next day. But by the end of the night, we were doing Macho Man Randy Savage impressions for like an hour and a half at this bougie ass restaurant in like Beverly Hills or whatever. We're just going, oh yeah, brother. I'm gonna fucking die, brother. I can't feel my tongue, brother. He was, oh my god. He taught me so much. Him and everyone at Cold Iron taught me so much. He went from everything from the pathogen stuff to the everything. It was crazy. Like this dude he's quacked. Ha! Ha! Amen to that, Tumor. Amen to that. Alright. Quite frankly, that is all I got, unless you want me to... What was your poly count? Poly count for what? Like per asset? Or just in general? Oh, for me, I'm a high to low poly count. I'm about 750 quads. Converted tries, 34, and they're all around my nipples. I also have Z fighting in my lower retina. So if you see like this flicker, that's why. Damn. Trying to think if there's anything else I'm.
Handle our outsourcing and our content management, those different libraries line, and I'd like to
levels. A lot of these out.
Do you do portfolio reviews? I don't mind. I'll 100% do a portfolio review. I don't mean. What's the RGB value? Brown. Wait, hold on. Let's get the. Oh, I got some color on my face. I was out on the beach today. Can I explain why the trim sheets were spaced out like that? Sure. Sure. Scrooby, if you want me to do a portfolio review, I don't mind. I will 100% do them. Oh, I closed my fuck. Let me just find another trim sheet, and I will show you. Show you why, my friend. I will 100% show you the logistics behind it. Steady as she goes for me. Okay. I'm gonna bring up this one again. Just because the way Matthew John set this up, is so smart. He also did a bunch of stuff for the vehicles. He also worked on Star Citizen. But so you always want to control the space on the edges just to make sure everything is proportional in the space. There is no necessarily right or wrong way to space out a trim sheet, but what you always want to do is when you're looking at something this small, like you wouldn't want a bevel this small to be on a building or something. You know what I mean? You don't want it to be on a larger object in the player space. You always want it to be smaller. It would be like a corner. You want it to be like on like the desk, like just the corner of the desk. You would have it for something like that. So you would keep it all proportional to the asset throughout whatever thing you're working on. So that's just why you would space it out like that. You could do it like if you know the trim sheet's going to be used everywhere on a like a God of War floor, like you're going to have that giant like pattern and stuff. First off, you might want to use really smart UV placement, but you'll have it take up more space on your atlas and your trim sheet as a whole. So would flooring take up the biggest space on the trim sheet? If you're having a floor that is a simple one pattern, just use a tileable. There's no reason to overthink it like that. Just use a tileable. Just use a simple tileable, my friend. So the way you would detail for trim is to make small. Well, it depends on where the what's gonna go. If it's a pattern, you're manipulating UVs to match the object. But the thing is that if you like the bigger the object is, the more resolution it's going to be. So if you want it to be a higher resolution image, you need it to take up more space. Hold on. Let's go back to Toby's. Yes. Tileable is a tileable material. It's a material that's always going to repeat. Okay, so hold on. So you see how these particular patterns are large, and they're going to be used consistently, like in a place for emphasis like that. Like, where is it? Like right here and right here. You're always going to have those take up more space. And then you're going to have decals and stuff like this. So, like, see this floor? This is a tileable. Because it is going to... This is a tileable. This is a tileable. This is a tileable. These are all tileable materials you can just place and leave. Because it's all going to be based on the UVs and all that stuff. It's going to be your base... everything. Used to be a prevailing wisdom that are the same text events plus from a meter. We've learned over the years that is way better to use the pixels where they matter. Exactly. And I think that logic is still super necessary sometimes to always keep a consistent level of textile density in some way, shape, or form. But I think now, because we've supplemented so much of a geometry, it's gotten less necessary, I think. There needs to be like an actual conversation from someone smarter than me that can elaborate more on that. But yeah, when I was learning everything, it was all textile density. Textile density is necessary. You need a starting base text, but then you add detail. Exactly, I agree, 100%. Oh, on. See, oh no, it's being covered by chat. See this flower right here? Right there. It's because it's consistent. And you're willing to give feedback throughout the challenge, correct? Yep. The whole point of me doing the challenge with y'all is to help you understand what you don't know. That is the whole point. I'm not here to demean anything. I'm so sick of that bullshit. There's so much negativity in the world. I don't need it more in this industry. There's still times where it can be important, but it's not strict as it used to be. I agree. I'm so tired of negativity in this goddamn industry. I'm working on it myself because I don't want to be one of those older senior dickheads. You know what I mean? I don't need any more of that. And I don't think anyone else needs more of that. But that's me. I love learning environment where we're allowed to not only fail, but learn and grow from it. That's seems I'm gonna... You know what, Josh? I appreciate you just helping. Listen, if you don't fail, what's the point of trying? If you're too afraid to fail, there's no... Like, you can't do anything. I think I might be one of the... Nah, no, Tumor Boy. You're actually... Every time we've talked, it's super nice. I don't think anyone is that way until you become, like... There's, like, genuine people that are really mean and stuff. Every time we've talked, not even close. Nick, you were, like, it's not even close. You are so fucking nice. What are you talking about? If you think it might be, most certainly will not. See, that's what they want. That's what they want you to think. And you're incredibly nice to every time I see you online. Like, there's no reason. There is no reason to fret. Oh, hold on. I think I need to do one more thing. I'll do it later. I'll do it in the Discord. I'll add all these references and all the ArtStation links to all this stuff in the video. I'll link more on the floater stuff from Overwatch. I'll throw that in the video as well. So that's all I got. Unless y'all want to hear me keep yapping. Quite frankly, I don't know what to yap about. These sculpts are so fucking crazy. I have no idea how I did this. Perhaps RE4. We could finish RE4. Isn't that why we're here? True. Alright, hold on. Let's see if I can load up RE4 and we just finish that sucker. We have like 20 minutes left of it anyway, so. All because you know I'm here. If you want to do a quick impromptu portfolio review, I'll post mine in the Discord. I do not mind. I stream on a RPD. No, I don't mind. Honestly, I wouldn't mind just chilling back tonight. I kind of want to do 1 to 2 ARC streams a week. I think it might be 1 a week because I want to get back in the game dev cycle of personal work and stuff. I saw this. The Baker board was rad. I really like this one. I think that my main critique is the grip tape because the grip tape doesn't look like that, and usually doesn't wear like that. But that's me being a dickhead because I have 4 skateboards that are worn to shit, like back there. You know what I mean? No one else would care. But overall, this was rad. Like, the ramp and everything, this was such a good project. I remember seeing this. Wait, I don't follow you. And follow and like. You know what? Get that like and subscribe. OMG skateboard. I said the magic words and I summoned you powers. Hold on, let's go back. I didn't immediately clicked on it. I like this one too. Unreal Engine Lighting. This comes to showcase one our piece over to visual purple. Solid. I like this one. The rendering here is crazy. The tiling on this chair is a little. The tiling on this chair is a little wonky, but overall it is good. I really love the lighting on a lot of this. Obviously, this is working within limitations, but this is solid as well. So, home runners and on everything. That's okay. It's still presented well, and I think, especially because it's like what you have to do home walkthroughs for other stuff. So I wouldn't even sweat. That just shows you actually have production experience, especially in sections that aren't necessarily games, but it's still, you're able to cake bash with things that are examples. Horizontal effect, excited shuffle in the escape room levels from the card. 5 bundle and a custom master section line. That's such a poop content. There's a mark into it. There's in a row. I'm on a bunch, and there's plenty of stuff from kits as well. I think overall, my main issue with these is that you might be. I don't know what your limitations were. I really like a good amount of the ideas and the set dressing behind it. I like the pipe leading through. I was wondering what your poly count was, like what the limitations were. Because my main critique right now, I'm actually just mostly the little poly stuff, like the bevels on here, all the way through. You match the UVs as well as you could. But yeah, it's mostly the little poly stuff. I think you can push some material blending a little bit more, but there isn't. I know. I think my issue is that I saw how well you did with your personal work, that I think you could push yourself a little bit more because you're really good at stuff like this. You know what I mean? I think if you just keep going through with stuff like this, you do phenomenal. You know what I mean? I love the layering on this. That was sick. The main limiter was time. Really, hey, you know what? That's fine. Shit happens. It's game. It's environment shit. It's life. If the limiter's your time, dude, this right here is rad. With a mixture of Quixel and Kitbash stuff, fucking sick. And production timelines do not even trip. It's shitty, but a good portfolio review is often just keep going. It exactly. I think that's a thing. It's like you just have to keep progressing. Because right now, right here, this is solid. It is solid, but you got to keep going. Like, this is pretty dope. I think you could push yourself more in terms of world building and stuff, but if your limiter is always going to be time, you just have to cut it with time, you know? Especially because I'm assuming, hold on, an escape room level. Yeah, you had to do everything from lighting, atmospheric details, and everything else. Yeah, you had to do everything. So, no, exactly. The mood lighting on the cabin's so good. We're a team of 3.5 people. Shit. You know what? Godspeed. 3.5 people making stuff like that, that's solid. And I love the thumbnails. Your thumbnails are good. Like these three, goated. These three are sick. I was going to ask how you would present models correctly when sharing on ArtStation, specifically low poly models. It's a topper. Yeah, that's John Legs. What is he? He's just Legs. Damn. How would you present models correctly? Specifically low poly models. You just present them in a zoo. I think, like, what you're worried about. By the way, did y'all see Jerice's new scene today? Good fucking lord, Jerice. Holy shit. Did you see this shit? God damn, man. Okay, hold on. I was good. I realize looking up Asset Zoo and Zoo Tycoon is crazy. This is all you need to do, Sushi. It's simple. Just have either in Marmoset or in Unity, make a simple background with all your assets presented with a wireframe over it, and then couple in context. That's all you need to do. You've never heard of an asset zoo? Homie, you didn't hear about trim sheets till like 10 seconds ago. It's all good. You don't need to worry about it. But this is all you need to do. It is just have to show it off. And quite frankly, I want to hit your school with a hammer. Like a cartoon. Hold on. I'm gonna show up to your school system with this. Hold on. I'm gonna do this shit real quick. Hold on.
Rolf respects your vow to uphold the sticky notes of elders, yet you must be punished. What is that, Rolf? The hat of discipline. Do you live in a cave? All is forgiven. Thank you, Rolf.
Life has many doors, Ed boy. And a lot of them you must hit them with the fucking hammer. If you're worried about what to make and feel like you need to make more, go follow Jeff Parrott. This guy, dude, always puts a good. That is true. Jeff is really good. Let's go. 2T. This guy. I don't follow Jeff. What the fuck? What's wrong with me? Like, awesome. Hold on, I'm gonna link his Blue Sky in chat real quick. I see a lot of his stuff on LinkedIn too. Like LinkedIn and Twitter. He used to be crazy on Twitter. I love this guy. He shares things from everywhere. You still need everyone to make Blue Sky? Nope. Join the cult. That is Beasky. I still don't like Blue Sky. I'm trying to. I'm trying to like Blue Sky more. But man. Oh my god. I'm gonna fangirl real quick. Kevin has been spamming with all of his work from Jedi Survivor and all of his Houdini stuff. Like, yeah. He's been so smart with utilizing Houdini and Unreal. With all them spline tools and all them extra geometries. It is insane. It's not like it's like liking Twitter less. That, you know what? Salute to that. Do you recommend learning GeoNodes? I recommend you learning the basics of environment art first before you whittle into anything like that. Because there's no reason to go into it until you understand everything. You know what I mean? Like, you're just overwhelming yourself with information that you can't use until you utilize everything else. I always recommend just say start with the basics. Or like the way I learn something like geometry nodes or Houdini, it is a simple, I want to learn how to do this thing. But I want to learn how to do this thing that I know, like with rocks or whatever. I want to make rocks on splines. How would I make these spline tools in Houdini with rocks? Keep it super simple into things I understand, and then you can utilize it through there, and then you build. You have to, like, once you get the basics, and you just deviate from there. You worked on Dark Void? What the fuck is this thumbnail? What does Owen Wilson have to do? No, exactly. Like what the fuck are your thumbnails? What the fuck are these? Yeah, exactly what Toomer said. Keep everything simple, and if you keep it simple, you will 100% like get hired most places. People are like, "Oh, I need to learn everything." You don't. Most people aren't going to know exactly what the fuck you're talking about. As long as you get the result, it doesn't matter. Some people just learn a tool to get good at that tool. Like, I got decent at Houdini just so I can make mountains, and then I ended up using 90% of Gaia. Houdini was just for iteration and tree placement and erosion line stuff. But even then, that was Gaia too, you know? There's always pressure that I have to learn everything because I was sort of taught that way. Well, whoever taught you that is wrong. They're stinky. Wrong. Soiled it. It is. Yeah, exactly. By the way, here is my 15th thing to yell at you to play the new Indiana Jones game if you haven't. They also did a whole talk on this. Progress are they? I get the shit out of here. Let me finish Expedition 33 Troop. Also, if you want a good video to watch on some recent stuff, Noman
Honestly, as long as you can bake
did
down,
a
like, few
full
rectangles
video
and assemble them afterwards, like it's gonna be all
on
good.
the new Indiana Jones game.
So this is the same in here, where like these wall pieces, you know, they do have quite a lot of detail, but honestly,
I
like,
need to
once you
find a
look at
good
the
Gaia
trims,
tuts
they're
because I
quite
think I made a
simple,
good
right?
island, but I'm not really happy with the scale and
I
erosion and
have
stuff.
these roof tiles that are baked
Should I do
down
more
into
Gaia
this
stuff?
shape.
Should
So
I do more
basically,
Gaia
this is one
tutorials? I always
continuous
kind of
mesh
just do it because
that's been baked down.
I always worry it's
But I
redundant.
also have like split roof tiles, just in case I wanna other with similar texture. Everything is kind of connected together. That's ultimately.
Just gonna start.
Vertex Paint. What do you mean Vertex Paint 2025? We always Vertex Paint. Vertex painting is so important. What?
Slideshow. Okay, I'm in ZBrush. I'll try and give you a quick understanding as to why we started to use this workflow.
Broke my mic
and
again?
It kind of became pretty integral to some of our daily
No, exactly.
work.
I do so much Vertex painting now. It is
tap.
so damn important.
Like roughly as I exported. Go to file. It for me. Thank
animation game just for some tests about sizes or how it looks from first person, how rig behaves.
What is vertex painting? Vertex painting is okay, hold on. So you know how every asset has a vertice, right? Yeah, every vertex can hold up some color info. I believe the max is RG. It's RGB, and then if like some people are crazy and like Naughty Dog had 5 or 6, it was stupid. But on average you're gonna have 3. So you're gonna have. So you're gonna use like you're gonna go up to the asset and then you're gonna paint it. Actually, hold on, let's see if this guy shows it. So like, see how this tileable he goes up? You paint on the shader whatever extra material you want. So you can add extra details wherever. And then you can have breakup. Like throughout the whole thing. And then iterate on it wherever, because every shader is kind of independent in that way. It is necessary to know what vertex painting is. So it's painted red on the vertex level, but the material sees the material when it applies. Yeah, exactly. It's often why where was it? Someone did not explain what the function of Substance Painter does. Well, you don't do it in Painter, you do it in Engine or Maya. You could do it in Painter, actually. You could set up all your vertex colors in Painter, but you just have to export the mask and then import the mask properly into whatever software you're using. Which looks like a yeah. There was a before I knew how to set it up in Unreal, I set it up in a in Maya. Like I would paint it in Maya and then I'd just slam it in. And they're like, "Oh, you can do it in Unreal." I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm an idiot." And this gets the result. Damn, 7 years ago. Damn, 7 years ago then and 7 years ago now. What the fuck? Good game. Alright. I'm exhausted. I can show examples if it's helpful. That's true. I will ask the chat after all this. Well, hey, thanks for the stream tonight. Your performance was awesome. Get around. What we'll do is that I will ask the 3D generalist chat in the server. If you want to join the Discord, it's at the bottom, by the way. I'll ask what y'all want to see next. If we want to go over vertex painting, if we want to do the full like super in-depth trim sheet with sculpt and ZBrush stuff, we can do that. Or I can just finish up the work more on the Halo project due to the fact that it would show off more of trim sheets and one-to-one base, utilizing materials and all that good stuff. Figure it out. I'll ask, and we'll have to do more art streams. I didn't realize y'all didn't know, or y'all needed to be saved from those insane ass poor education systems. Sometimes we just need a fix, or we can. All right, y'all take care of yourselves. Do I have anything else to show off? Let's see real quick.
It speeds up.
Nope, that's Splitgate. Oh, really? A little bit. All right, y'all take care of yourselves. Good night, y'all.